As our story continues, we find Lot living in Sodom, a city filled with sinful people. The angels traveled from Abraham's home to visit Lot and found him at the city gate, a place where people with authority gathered. The Lord could not find even 10 righteous people in the whole city. The angels instructed Lot to take his family and go, because the city was going to be destroyed. Who went? What happened? You will be reading one chapter a day this week from Genesis 19 through 23, and you will find out the answers. Tuesday, as we read chapter 20, we find Abraham walking by sight and not faith. He began scheming, and this time even Sarah lied. This event definitely shows the humanness of Abraham. God kept his promises. Sarah finally cried out with surprise and joy at the birth of their son Isaac. Abraham had 2 sons now. It soon became one too many. You will have to read and see what became of Hagar and Ishmael. On Thursday, we see Abraham offering Isaac on the altar, which was the hardest test he'd ever faced. But he came through it well because he trusted God. It was a test of faith, far more difficult than the previous tests involving Lot and Ishmael. This request from the Lord was also a test of hope, for God's plan of salvation for the world was wrapped up in Isaac. And certainly it was a test of love. In verse 2, you will find the first use of the word love in the Bible. Abraham loved his son, but he loved God more. Tanya does an excellent job with the Salt Shaker devotion about this event. Read and enjoy. This week ends with the death of Sarah. She is the only woman in the Bible whose age is given and burial described. It was the death of a princess, a woman of faith. Abraham felt the pain of his loss and openly expressed his grief. He paid a high price for what became of one of the most famous tombs in biblical history. Genesis describes a full tomb, but the gospel story ends with an empty tomb. And because Jesus Christ lives, we who trust in him need never fear death. God's people grew in number as we end the week. Biblical Shakers will make reading the Bible more enjoyable for you, and I pray that the Lord will put a hunger on your heart.